Live. Looks like I am. Just realizing my light is actually right in the way of the comments. So if you're watching in, I am broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook at the same time, broadcasting um, through Be Live. So welcome. If you're new to my page, then this is supposed to be a morning session that I do of introduction into the cards, into my oracle cards, and a full introduction. And what turns into be one card of the day has turned into an everyday group reading. So, well, hello, Lisa Richard. So this is a group reading that I do this daily based on my cards. Hi, Stacy. Hello, hello, hello for everyone who's joining in. Welcome. We will let the room fill up. I'm just doing some rearranging, trying to get my office kind of readjusted again. We'll let a few people get in before I actually start the card. Hello, hello. Hi, Shauna. I have two screens going because not everybody's showing up on here. So good afternoon, Kim and Shauna, two Shaunas, and Angie. Hi. Um, for anyone who has not been following my morning lives that I have been doing, what I've been doing recently is, well, I haven't been in much of my other big lives. Eyes are on the page today. Thank you, Lisa. Yesterday was horrendous. It was bad. It was bad. There was a lot of outside interference in yesterday. So the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards is what we're talking about. So this is an introduction card by card into my deck of Everyday Goddess Oracle cards from the Shadow series that we'll be able to start launching the pre-sales the end of March. We hope for February, but that's not happening because there is so many little details. But I love to be able to share the journey that, just one day it just doesn't show up that you just see this beautiful deck of oracle cards and like, oh, wow, that just happened overnight. No, it's been a couple years in the making. And this is a little bit of me being able to give to everybody so that I can share this journey with everybody. But it's also a little bit about me and being able to share the win and the celebration that comes into creating your life. And I love to be able to share that journey with everyone. So when I'm doing this cards, I'm pulling for general. I'm introducing the card of the day first, and then I'll pull a few other cards. Sorry, I'm drinking an espresso. I taught this morning. I was teaching all this morning, and now I'm in here, and then I'm back out, and then I'm in the book club at 6:00. So you can always still join into the book club chapter by chapter. You don't have to come in every chapter. You don't have to be there all the time. So you can come in whenever is convenient for you. So while there's a few people coming in, I'm going to introduce the card number 19. We are on card day of my cards. And so because it's evening, I'm going to do a lot more cards. I'm going to spread this out. This is not my everyday morning. So I'm going to incorporate a little bit of two things here today. I'm going to introduce my cards, and then I'm going to pull a few cards to give a general reading for everybody type of thing. So good morning, Franz. And good morning, Julie and G. Hi. And Sasha and Brenda and Cece. Hi. Oh, Raina's, oh, I'm so happy to have you. Thank you. Thank you for joining in. And Tracy and Cherry, hi. Hi, 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 everyone who's coming. So, this is our card. Oh, I got an eyelash. So this is our card of the day. That's the first card out. And this card is called Feed the Light. So this is my deck of oracle cards. These are created by me, channeled through. It's been a couple years in the making. I got a nail missing. And it's been a few years in the making. The back has now changed. It doesn't look just like this either. Everything of the cards have changed. And so now it has the maiden, the crone, and the maiden, mother, and the crone energy on top. It has more of a cross shape in here, but this is a portal. This is a door in. And if you were to spread the cards, you can see the cards actually become like an awakening. So it's like that whole thread. So it's the thread through. So even the back of the cards have somewhat of a meaning, somewhat of a message. And then every card inside was channeled through my work. And then the artwork was done by a beautiful Amelia Richard, who took my vision and created it into the artwork. So this is card number 19 tonight. So hopefully the end of March, you can purchase my cards, and it's from the shadows. These are beautiful, beautiful cards for, truly being able to step into our light, to see the beauty through the darkness. And card number 19, we call her Rose. And if you've been following me for a long time, you know I have a lot of books written. They cost a lot of money to publish. And so the first book that was out, if you're new, because there's always new people, this is my first book. This is More Than Existing. It goes with my More Than Existing program. So the cards are a part of the family of More Than Existing. And that's why, like, you don't see me so much into my lives doing live mediumship, pulling cards every, so often, because I'm also writing, I'm creating, and I have a online school that I share a lot of the work with Lisa Richard, who's in here, who owns Loving Energy Recharge. And so that school, that platform, you see me in there a lot. I teach 4 or 5 nights a week. I'm creating programs. More Than Existing program is created from beginning to end by me, from channeled messages, all the books. So I wrote a book called Wine and Chips. And the book called Wine and Chips is not out yet, but it is in editing. So it's about association and disassociation, and how we disconnect and how we become detached from our truth, our reality. And we live in the shadow. We live in trying to seek and search the best parts of us in the darkest corners, and we defend those parts of us. And when we start to feel the essence of that something, when we feel like we're coming apart, when we feel like we're starting to feel like we're breaking open. And I'm sorry, I'm picking up a lot of energy coming in over my shoulders, through my back. There's a lot of energy coming in here. And so when you start to be able to pick up and feel that sense of, this don't feel right, it don't feel right anymore, you start to recognize that you are how disassociated from our reality, from our life we have become. We disassociate from love, from connection to love. And so you could be in a partnership where you're saying, I don't know why they can't show me love. I don't know why they can't hug. I don't know why they don't. And so that feeling, that sense, probably has nothing to do with you. It's not that they don't love you, they don't care for you. They're unable to give you what you need, because they've been so disconnected when you're hurt as a child and you experience traumatic experiences. When you have those experiences and you live from those experiences, that's what you're feeding. You're always feeding the energy of that experience, trying to like find comfort, trying to find nurturing through those experiences, and it doesn't work. And so Feed the Light was created from my place of being able to move up and out. And so when I started to, be able to know that, when I start to recognize the power within me and the presence within me, but also my return to being able to allow myself to trust my intuition, being able to trust the guidance of something outside of myself that was larger than me. And so if you look really closely at the card, there's a watering can. It's a gold watering can. And when we're being fed and fueled by the love, and even the love of our loved ones. So when I wrote Wine and Chips, I wrote it about a grape named Rose. Well, the whole book is a funny story. It has humor, but it has a lot of pain. And the only way that I could connect myself to the story, the pain stories that I was feeling but disconnected to, was that I had to disconnect myself. So I had to look at it as a third person. And that's how we do a lot of healing and coaching, is that we disassociate. So we associate to seeing yourself as who you used to be, or as the little girl, so that you can have compassion and find love and fall in love with that person, so that you can feel for her, so that you can show her kindness. And so when we're unable to show ourselves kindness, we look back at that person. So the grape, Rose, became that grape that was plucked from the vine, and she was mushed and formed into what everyone else wanted her to be. She was conditioned, she was turned into this fine wine, and then people would taste her and decide for themselves if they want that wine or not want that wine. So the whole story goes on, but it's the story of our lives. And so Rose really represents that part of us that when we start to blossom and bloom, and we accept, you have to accept that your past happened. You cannot change the past. So every time that we keep holding on to the resentments, the anger, the everything of the past, and we keep feeding into that, we cannot become who we are fully meant to be, because that's where we are coming from, right? That's where we're living from. And we need to be here. So when Rose accepted, you know what? It is what it is. I'm making the best out of the life that I have right now. I cannot change the past, but I have an opportunity to recreate me and to change who I want to be. That I have that opportunity. And that's this card, is that truly that you have the opportunity to let your eyes become eyes wide open. So with eyes wide open, I see me. And in More Than Existing, in the book More Than Existing, I write about through the eyes of my so-called enemies, through the eyes of people that I made my enemy, or I would look at and go, they did this and they mistreated me. Through all of those eyes, I seen me, because I seen the enemy. I seen that the enemy is the enemy within when we keep doing and allowing those things to happen to us. Oh, my mother. You are in Toronto. Good. Well, you sit and watch this now while you're sitting in Toronto. And so when you start to be able to look through the eyes, it's like, well, no, maybe it wasn't, maybe where I'm still trying to receive everything that I need is all out there in that material, because I've given so much energy. I have fed and fueled the stories that I have created. And so when you can start to create from well, this is what I got. So from this, Rose became the grape that she wanted to be. She became the fine wine she wanted to be. She didn't care who liked it. She put her own price tag on it. She put herself in her own spot. And then the chips went into the rooted and grounded ancestral stories that we get taught, that we get rooted and grounded in, and we hold as truth. We hold it to be as truth, because even our childhood stories, most times you don't remember. You remember by the fact that they have been repeated time and time and time again. And so you remember them as they've been constantly repeated. It doesn't mean that we fully remember that time. Doesn't mean that we remember that journey. And so what we're remembering is what we've heard. And if you see in the card, you look in the card, for anyone new joining in, this is my Oracle cards. This is not anyone else's. This is my creation. And I'm proudly displaying them. It's not like when you come in and I'm pulling all the cards. And so these are mine. and so I'm proudly displaying each one before they ever come in. We are beta testing them. They have a little identity of their own. And so if you look up in the top of the card over her head, not only is the water can there that's feeding in the beautiful God conscious light, this light of the light and love of the divine, it is, or from the angelic, whatever words or terminology you want to use, but it's also feeding in, see the beautiful spirit above, see that beautiful angelic, see how human she looks. And so our loved ones, who have passed on, those who've walked before us, they don't want us to live in their stories, and they don't want us to recreate their lives. They want us to live our lives. They want us to to live in our light. And so what they're always showing us is to live in our light. And so live in the essence of you. And this is a mother card. So you have in 3 categories. There's maiden, mother, and crone. So she's starting to embrace. You see her hair's back over her ear. So she's starting to listen. She's starting to know that communication is not all about speaking. It's about the silence and how much wisdom we gain when we go silent. And that we don't always have to be justifying, explaining our story, about telling everybody everything, that there's so much to be explored, so much to be witnessed, so much to be absorbed when we allow ourselves to go quiet, to sit in the stillness, and to learn the power of your ears are not to hear what other people are saying here on earth, not the human. because what you're hearing, your eyes and your ears lie to you. So what you think you see is not always truth. What you think you're hearing doesn't mean it's true. And so, but the wisdom, when we sit back and we allow those loved ones to come in, when we allow this, this divine energy to communicate to us, we hear such wisdom, and it's wisdom that goes beyond knowledge. It's wisdom that goes beyond knowledge. And so allowing that to be a part of our lives is so important. Okay. So this is our card 19. I'm going to validate this. I don't have as much time to spend on her. And of course, what I've been saying all along, what I say with every card when we do this in the morning, I would say, what do you feel when you're looking at that card? Because these are attitude cards. They're all about our attitude. So even when we think we're suppressing and we're hiding things, we can put on the best mask in the world, we are still exposing ourselves. Everything we think we are covering up does come out. One way or the other, it could look like perfection. You don't think somebody can see beyond your perfection. When you say, oh, my family is perfect, we don't have any problems. Or when you put on that perfect face and you say, I'm totally happy, but you get into the grocery store and you lose your freaking shit because somebody checked in something wrong, or because the wrong price came up when somebody was checking it in, and you lose your shit and you go berserk on the person checking you in, as if they are personally responsible for everything that went wrong in your life. So it's like you can then you pull yourself back together and you go meet your friends and you're like, oh, I'm having such a good day, but you just shit on the day of the person that you just left your garbage on, right? And so that shows that you're not hiding those things. Those things show up in all different places. And so those exposures, and when we expose ourselves, is that then we try to cover it back up. But if we don't have nothing to hide, if we do the work, if we do the heal, if we acknowledge, if we become honest with ourselves, if we take full responsibility and ownership for our own stuff that we do in our lives, we can honestly be able to move beyond it. It's a big thing, because all you got to do is accept who we are. And I mean, it's not that I teach a whole program about this, but it's called self-actualization, self-awareness, that you recognize your role that you play in allowing. So the 4-year-old that went through a traumatic event was the 4-year-old who went through the traumatic event. The person who's still looking for that nurturing is now 40, 50 years old, not 4. So the story is so alive, and it's your pain of it is real. But the rest that we continue to allow it to destroy our whole lives is the fact that we believe that our light is not there, or that we're still constantly holding that person who could even be dead now responsible and accountable for the life that you're not living today. And it's not saying that we're forgetting what that happened to us, because that's not it. There's a lot of healing in the journey, but the only person and I'm sorry from that person, it's still not going to fix your life. You have to be the one to say, I have to do this for me. I have to love myself enough to make a choice to choose me. And when I love myself enough to make the choice to choose me, look out world, because I can do incredible things, because I have incredible ability in me, because I've gotten this far in life. See yourself at the end of every story, right? Sorry, got to drink my coffee. And so now we're going to validate this card with another card. Divine love. Yes. Ancestry connection. I'm trying to look around the light to see. Yes, learn from your past. Your past has your past can be some of your greatest teachers, and it can be the most crippling thing if you allow yourself to live in it. When we move forward and we live in the now has the most power. The future that hasn't happened has no power. It has possibility, but it has no power. The past has it has as much power as you're feeding to, as much life. Everything is in the now. And that's the truth. Everything is in now. And your worry, your stress, your constant being worried about what hasn't happened, or what happened, or what might happen, will never ever stop anything from happening. All you're doing is you're wasting precious moments, precious opportunities. And that's the truth. Oh, and now my next card. This card we haven't seen yet, and she is one of my favorite cards. She was actually one of the first cards that was created. I say she's the I say she's the grown version of the card that's on the cover. I have to find her so I can bring her up. If you're wondering why I go quiet, it's because we're bringing up the card. So I'm bringing on the screen the card because I want to show off my card. And so this card is the Guardian. She is Willow. Beautiful Willow. And she is a crone, and she may still have a very youthful look. She may even have Botox. Who knows? Who cares? But she's got her beauty, she's got her light. And so you see Willow, and you see her, she's that guardian. She's protecting parts of her sacred wisdom. She's guarding that, but she's also sharing as well. But she also very much knows that it's not about protecting to a point of where you shield yourself. It's about letting your beauty show, but knowing that you can cover in, you can keep yourself, what is yours, what is sacred to you. That when we speak of vulnerability, you don't have to give it all to the world. That the world is not entitled to all of you. And it's a tough lesson that I learned in this journey. I wanted to give everybody everything of me. I wanted to share everything. And I wanted to give everything away right now. And I've really, truly come from learning of how many times I've fallen to my knees, how many times I end up losing all of my energy, that you need time to recharge. Yes, fear is a bad teacher. Fear don't teach very much, right? Fear is not a good teacher. I don't know why I got like some feedback happening here. And so beautiful Willow, when I hold beautiful Willow, I think of, when I start thinking of Willow, I start to think of like an old tree. And that's where it came, like an old oak, like an old apple tree or an old cherry tree. And so when people get older in human life, we start to discount and not place value on their wisdom, on their knowledge. We treat them, sometimes society treats people who are aging as if they don't know what they're talking about. They're no good for this or that, or, it's like we've lost that sense of showing some sort of dignity, but we also have to recognize how rooted and grounded the older wisdom can be stuck in an old programming. And so we also have the ability to work and teach each other. But to gain the wisdom from our elders, to gain the years that they've had upon earth and the knowledge they have is valuable. And so when I looked at an old cherry tree, an old oak tree, the things that blossom, an old apple tree, is that as time goes on and the older it gets and the more sturdy and stronger and the more rooted and grounded it gets, every single year it goes through its cycle. And so it blossoms, it grows all these beautiful flowers. So every single year it looks like this youthful appearance. It has its time, it has its cycles. And then all the flowers fall off, and then it's beautiful greenery, and then all the leaves die. And so they know the cycles of life. And so they try to tell us, but this is temporary, this too shall pass. But we don't want to listen or say, you need to let go, and you need to trust if you let go. And we don't want to let go. And they say, this happened before. What's happening in the world, we've seen it before. And if we don't do this, this is what will happen. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. But when you look at trees, use trees as your greatest teacher. Use the wisdom of those trees to remind you that there's so much to be learned. And so when you see those beautiful apple blossoms and cherry, everybody stops to smell them. Everybody wants to touch it. Everybody wants to be near that tree. But when people see it just turn into a tree that just has leaves, we want to go in and we want to carve it, we want to cut it down, or if it looks like it's dead but it's dormant. And if we just, it needs love, it needs to be nurtured. But then in wintertime, it goes dormant. It knows when to shut down. It knows when to take a break. And it's the same thing. The guardian knows when to sit back, when to step back, when to, it's time to step back in, when it's time to shine again. So sometimes when we look at our own lives, is that we want to be out there all the time. We want to be in people's lives all the time. We want to always be there. We want people to listen to us. And it's all in the seasons. It's like everything has its seasons and everything has its time and allowing. And so when you allow the natural process of life, instead of trying to force life or trying to control life, you will see more of the beauty. You will see the longevity. You will see life in a much more beautiful way. So every time that we try to force it to happen, or every time we try to control it, or every time we just think that we can go in and just take off all the beautiful flowers, we are ripping away the opportunities, or we're cutting away the moments that we can embrace just looking, sitting, listening, watching. There is so much beauty to be seen, and to understand how the guardian of the trees, do you know how much trees do for us, right? Is that, who would we be? Where would we be without the trees? So where would we be without our ancestors? So when we're still blaming the whole world that walked before us for everything that is wrong, you forget they also created everything that you get to live in today. And we so forget those things, is that they didn't just do all the harm to us. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. We wouldn't be on earth if it wasn't for the ancestors. We wouldn't have what we have if it wasn't for the ancestors. We wouldn't have what we have if it wasn't for those who had the courage to do the things that needed to be done to bring this world to life. And so whether it's all right or wrong, we only know sometimes through experience. But the elders who are here still are people that we need to listen to. And to also listen to the guardians that are in nature. Listen to the trees. See how they all get along well together. See how they can all be next to each other, not fight, not be arguing, not to be saying, your limb is in my way, or I don't like your kind of flowers. I don't like your kind of leaves. You're the wrong kind of tree, right? And so we got so much to learn from there. And that's the beauty of sitting back and observing. Become the observer. And the trees are the beautiful observers, and they allow us to observe them. They allow us to witness their evolution, their cycles, and to be able to live in awe. And so the oldest of trees still looks youthful. It looks older when it goes into dormant, but when it comes to life, when the sun comes out, when it embodies light, it blossoms. So just like us, no matter the age, when we embody light, we will shine. We will blossom. We are becoming when we are embodying light. So beautiful willow is our present moment. There is no wrong, right? And so then we have, this is one of my favorite cards, and she kept getting moved around in numbers. She taught me some fine lessons about what I think I know and how much I really don't know. And I always say that I live as if I know nothing. And so she's way down here in numbers now. And we're going to bring her up. And this is Lumerian. Lumerian is our beautiful universal light of love. And she's also a crone energy. And if you can see her hair, her wings, she's floating in love. She has stripped it all down. What I really talk about is that baptismal of self-baptizing ourselves, of washing away the day. I remember last winter or the winter before, I was having a really hard time, and that's when this card came to life. And I found myself, I was supposed to be on my way to the West Edmonton Mall. I live in Alberta. I live in Leduc, so it's outside of Edmonton. And I was supposed to be meeting friends at the West Edmonton Mall. I didn't feel like going, but I pulled myself together. I put my clothes on, got all dressed up, and I big fur collars, dressed to kind of go out clubbing type of look, leather pants. And I was driving, and my Google Maps all of a sudden made a change, and it was freezing rain. It was cold, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's an accident. So I'm like, but this don't make sense, because this is not going to get me to the West Edmonton Mall anytime soon. But something said follow the path. So I kept driving. I went over this bridge and I'm like, oh, maybe they wanted me to see, I was living out. So maybe they want me to see this big building. Maybe this is where I'm going to put off my next event. Oh, wow, it's beautiful. And then I kept driving over the bridge and there was this big cross and it was the City of Hope, was this big church, and it was lit up, and it said, and it was a Thursday night, and it said, what are you doing on Thursday night? And I started to laugh and I'm like, is that a sign? And I was having a really, really difficult time. I was really questioning a lot of this work. And I mean, I've questioned myself in this role a lot over the years as to, is this me? Why me? Why me? And so, and there's a lot of programming from the past that went with that. So as I was driving past, I just heard turn around. So I went to get a coffee and I'm like, okay, well, if I got to go to that church, I better get a coffee because I am throwing myself into the wolves, man. Like, this is crazy. Throw myself to the lions. Throw myself to the lions. This is crazy. And so I got the coffee and I phoned my friends and I said, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to go to church. That's what I'm being called to do. I'm not coming for dinner. I look like I should be going to the club. And I said, I have one toonie. That's every dollar. They were taking me for supper. That's every dollar I have to my name. So I'm like in cash, not in cash. And so I'm like, oh, I got $2. So I got the coffee and I said, I hope they take debit. I said, I wonder if they take debit, jokingly, for collection. I get there. I walk into this big building, like my eyes are wide open. I'm like, what am I doing here? And there's a big sign that says, don't worry about your collection. We take debit. And they had like a whole stand with debit machines. And I'm like, okay, somebody is listening to me. I know somebody is listening to me up there. And that was it was such a moment of, if you're listening to me, okay, show me this. Okay, show me this. So I started this, okay, if you want me to do this, show me this. And this was the universal light of love coming to life. That's how this card started. And so I start walking to this woman. I said, have somebody approach me. And this old woman walked over to me and she was a crone energy. And she said, you don't look like you belong here. You look like you might be lost. And I said, well, I think I may be. And she said, why are you here? And I said, I don't know. I believe God brought me here. I said, and I don't know if my words of God and your words of God is the same thing, but I can tell you some sort of universal light brought me here. And I said, and she said, have you ever been to a Pentecostal church? And I said, is this Pentecost? She said, yes. And I said, oh, that's funny. I said, I went to a Pentecostal school. And I grew up. My parents are not Pentecostal. I grew up going to my early years of school in a Pentecostal school. And she said, well, I guess you know something of us. And I said, I guess so. I end up talking to every pastor in there came to speak to me. And I know I'm going to shorten the story a little bit, but I ended up sitting down and another woman came and she said, why are you here? And who are you? And I wanted to lie to both women. And I was almost had a bit of a shame to say that I'm a psychic medium, I'm a spiritual healer. And everything said, tell the truth. Tell your truth. Do not lie about who you are. You have spent a lifetime lying about who you are. Do not hide who you are. And that's how this card came to life. She got up, she walked up, she was the wife of the pastor who had not been at that church in 20 years. He started that church, but now he's headed a big Pentecostal association. And I sat there and he spoke about a neurological condition and his wife being healed through the elders, through the crone energy, through that. And he said, I didn't believe in the power of healing and how powerful healers were until I seen it in my wife, till I seen results. And then I just heard, this is not your church. You have your church. You have your place. Wherever your people are, wherever you find your peace, wherever you find your contentment, wherever you find where you belong is your church. And that your stage is waiting. Go be on your stage. And that stage is all of our stage, wherever that stage is. So the universal light of love is that Lumerian. And when I speak of my aliens and my Pleiadians and my Lumerians, when I speak of that alien kind of energy, that fact that there's beings, there's something more. It's like I would never speak of that. And so when I was sitting there and I was accepted in a place, and the woman said to me, are you born again? And I looked at her and I wanted to say, shamefully no. And I said, Yes, I believe I'm born again every day, because every single day I don't know what's coming, and every single day I don't know who I am. I have been so in so much hurt, and I said, I'm writing this book and I'm trying to accept that this is me. And she said, you are, you are. Every day you are born again. You have the opportunity to redo. You have the opportunity to reform. And that's the truth. So I came home, got in my bathtub where I spend my time. And I always said to myself, I'm like, this is me cleansing off my day. This is me going to rest, to then be reborn, to start again tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow brings, but I have faith that if they can lead me to all those spots, if they can take me to all those spots, and something can tell me to do this, and I have that faith within me. I have something so strong, and that's what you need to have in you. Have faith strong enough in you that when you can strip it all down and you can just be you, and you don't need to wear a mask, you don't need this identity, you don't have to be anything else, that just you is enough. That is golden. That is golden. And she's letting her wings out, and she's being held in love. She is being held up. She's not going to drown. She's not going to fall under. She's being held. We may feel like we're drowning. We may feel like our world is collapsing. We may feel like everything is falling out from underneath us. But when a door closes, it's closing so that another opportunity can be there. When we can start to be able to walk on, when we can be able to start to stand up again, we call it your phoenix moment. When you rise again, when you start to come from that murky place, when you start to live within the essence of understanding the power of self-love, of self-worth, of connecting yourself to you, of the power of living right now, means honoring and appreciating who you are, how you got here, what it took to get here. And that no matter what your past is, you should not ever live in shame. And there's no judgment out there, and there's no criticism, but they are observing, they are witnessing, and they keep telling us, stop this. And so you can see she's peace. She found her peace. She found her contentment. And just like Willow, she is protecting and covering up the most sacred parts of her. And so the breast can be, you can connect it to the spiritual, to the sexuality of the diva, of the feminine, or it's also our mothering. It's also the mothering. So both parts that are covered are also tied to the mothering. So she's done her mothering. She's been there. This beautiful lumen, she's done her mothering. Now she's mothering herself. She's not responsible for the world. And when I realized that I didn't have to mother the world, I don't have to mother the world. I can give guidance, but I can own that crone energy. And so when you can own, you can embrace all of who you are, you stop trying to run to the past. You stop allowing yourself to sink in everything that someone else may place judgment upon you. And the biggest thing that I surrendered over was any sense of a reputation. It's not about my reputation. It is not about anything else other than living. I would say golden. Live freaking golden. So now I say I live rose gold. I'm living my rose gold life. I'm Rose the grape by claiming myself, by living as me, and truly allowing yourself. And this is her. See her hair, see her wings, and see her wings and her hair all blends together. You are the same energy as that divine, because that most hidden treasure is hidden inside of humans, because we will look everywhere else for it. But it's inside of you. It's inside of you. You have that in you. We all have that inside of us. And so we seek and search everywhere outside of ourselves. When you stop seeking for it outside and you understand the power of being held in love, to be held in the hands of God consciousness, of angels, moon, stars, rocks, I don't care what you call it, of universal energy. But universal is also eternal. Is that light, and universal love doesn't know judgment. Universal love doesn't know that you belong to this, or you're good enough to be here, or you're judged. I always say, when I heard I was placed in my church, is that we place light in places where people feel like they People that feel like they don't belong anywhere, or they don't know, they're a misfit, they feel like they're a black sheep. Well, when light can embrace that, when life comes in, when light comes into that energy, that's our church. That's our place. And no one gets to judge which church or where you should place your ass or your feet to sit, to be good enough or to be worthy enough to be in this world. We are all worthy to be in this world. And the biggest thing that we have lost is dignity. And we need to find that again, dignity for humanity. Pink diamond. Friends, that's actually the cover on my book. That's the cover on Magic and Miracles. You can't make this shit up. Pink diamonds. That's actually part of that's more than existing. That's the whole logo, actually. The whole logo is diamonds. And so, yeah, and so I have the heart and the key, and more than existing, and the school has the diamonds. And so my book, You Can't Make This Shit Up, Magic and Miracles, is actually has the cover is pink diamonds. And rose colored glasses. So when we take off the rose colored glasses. All right. So I'm going to see, you just can't make this shit up. I'm going to validate that whole reading for everybody. So in validating that whole reading, the card that came out is actually the very first card. So when you've come full circle, when you allow life to go through the whole cycle, is that we return to the original, because it's that whole journey. So no matter what, you can fight this life, but we're all going back, as my mother says, we're all going back to the same place. But it's true. So what I speak of in the work is that I speak of, it's like walking the labyrinth. There's one way in, there's one way out. It gets complicated because when we feel like we are trapped, or we feel like something is ending, we feel like it's the end. But you can only get back out the same way you came in. It is returning to the light. So why not live in the light while we are here? Why not live the life of the light while we are here? Why do we want to live with the panic of that we are trapped into something, instead of embodying the light that sets us free? And so the original card takes us all the way back to Rose, all the way back to the grape on the vine, and all the way back. So yeah, she was plucked from there. Yep, she might have been taken too early. Yep, she might have been mixed in with a whole bunch of other stuff. She may be mixed and blended in stories. Somebody else may have tried to put a price tag on her, whatever it may be. But in the end, when she makes a choice to choose, well, I got to make the best of what I have. When you choose to make the best of what you have and to live in the power of the now, make the best life, it means that you're now starting to accept that I can accept this part of me, but I can also have the opportunity to reject the things that don't suit me. That's not mine. I'm giving that back. That's not mine. That's not my story. That's not who I am. And when you start to clear out what belongs to everybody else, now you have room for you, because it's amazing how much of other people's stuff is tied to you, how much of other people's energies are on you. And so when you can clear that, you realize you got yours, you got somebody else's, you got your parents, you got the ancestors, you got everything that you think you should be. So when you can clear that and allow yourself to just be vulnerable, allow you take off all the layers, and you can see you for the first time. When you can see you for the first time, really see you, you feel compassion. A tear may even roll down your eye, because you can start to feel love, and probably love that you have not felt in years. And that's a truth. And that's a truth. Okay. So anyone new joining in, these are my Oracle cards. These are the beta deck programs that are beta deck cards that we're testing. They look different when I'm showing you, because they're changed daily. They're going back into print to test out the next ones now, because they've had so much beautiful things done to them since we got them. They started white, the lettering was small, and now they've gotten bigger. The writings are getting closer to being done for them. And so, yeah, so we're working through this. Yes. Thank you, Lisa. So Lisa is sharing about the book club, and you can get a digital copy of the book You can download digital copies as well as purchase the book. Okay. So I'm just checking the time because I also have my book club this evening. So, hi. Okay. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to pull a couple cards while I'm here, just because it's evening. In the mornings, I won't be doing this. I have a very, very busy week. I have a lot of clients this week. So if you're new and you're looking and you're here, then the cover is that pink picture on the wall. That's the cover to the box of my oracle cards. They're called the Everyday Goddess Oracle. It is divine feminine energy, and it's about the beauty, that the light that's inside of our shadows that we want to play with, that we want to reach for, that we want to try to, that we're so determined to make shine, that we want the world to see, we want the world to love. I feel like my light is so bright. And we will announce when these cards become available. And I'm going all the way back. I'm looking for Brenda Jessom. Are you still there, Brenda? Just seeing if Brenda's still here. Brenda Jessom. I think it's Jessom, right? Brenda McIntyre Jessom. If you're still here. Okay. And if not, CC, I'm choosing you because you asked way up here. I'm sure I seen you up here earlier, right? So I'm not seeing Brenda, so I'm choosing. Oh, you are there, Brenda. Okay. Brenda, I was just calling you. Okay, so I'm going to go Brenda, and then good evening from the UK, Hannah. We're just working through my deck of oracle cards here. Yeah, I got Brenda now. So Brenda, I'm going to read you, and then CC also stay because I'll do your card right after. So Brenda, this is the card that came out, and it's actually the cover of the deck, the picture that's on the wall, and it is card number 1, and it's innocence, and it's grace. And so I'm trying to decide. It's innocence, it's grace. I will pull the card up here. Let me see, just so you can fully see the card. And here's our beautiful innocence, and it's grace. And it's truly about being able to see yourself as as that child of the God consciousness, of equally as worthy, to treat yourself the same way that you would treat the beautiful children, to treat yourself with love. And I feel like for you, there's a lot of I feel like you're still carrying like a lot of the burdens, like you're carrying a lot of the burdens to the story. And it just feels like for me, I just keep going to the lotus flower, and I just like that innocence of a child. And I also keep getting, remember my innocence, remember the innocence, and remember the innocence in you. And the number one, I just feel like I feel like for you, Brenda, what I'm really getting with this also is that there's something coming that's like like a new beginning, a lotus flower moment. You see, she's wearing the lotus flower, like she's tempting you, she's teasing you, she's showing you her flower that's on her side, and she's saying, look at me, look at me. And it's also the essence that your child has wings. There's a lot of messages in here for you with this, Brenda. Your child has her wings and she can do a lot with her wings, and she's returned to her innocence. She's returned to all of her, but she's also showing you like, look at me, look at me. I have your flower. I have your lotus. I'm bringing this to you. So I feel like for you, it is like there's an ending of something. There's a new beginning and a new opportunity. It is also covered in pink and a lot of self-love energy I have here. It's like you're just being wrapped in love, loving energy. And you can also see that through her head, she's wearing the crown of those beautiful flowers. And I feel like she's adorned and crowned that she may, she's that very innocent child, but she also very much has that, she has that divine grandmother energy around her. And so I feel like there's a grandmother energy also there with her. So she's telling me there is a grandmother there with her, and she tips the roses. So I see her tipping the roses, and she's tipping the roses towards me. She says, I'm not alone. I have people working with me, and these people are also working to help you. And so this is a grandmother energy, Brenda, and the grandmother is coming in right beside your daughter, beside your child, is what I'm being told. And so it's like, and you see they're like, she's up to something. Very kind of like she's looking to one side. Her eyes are looking over. She's looking at something. She's kind of, let me see what we can do. She's not looking down at the lotus. She's looking over, like she's pretending like she doesn't see it. And so this moment is your moment though. So what I'm being told is to make you the number one, to make you the priority, and that this is your moment. Whatever is coming in the next, this next year or whatever, and I know we're still got a lot of the pandemic stuff, but I feel like this is your moment. This is your moment to start to create. This is your moment to start to live, and to be able to live from that moment, and to know that she's there in that moment with you with such love. So now you have to learn the power of walking in grace for you, the power of being able to live in grace for you. And I'll tell you how this card came. So this card came to me the day my granddaughter was born. And my granddaughter's middle name is Grace. And the day she was born, this card was created. Now, the artist had no idea my granddaughter was born. And about the same time I got the phone call from my daughter, I got this card sent in the message saying, this is the card I just created from our innocence. And I'm like, that is so funny. You sent this the exact same time my granddaughter was born. So this card was being created, and I say it looks so much like her. And so there's the blessings. There's so many blessings that still come to us. There's birth, there's rebirth, and there's something being born into or being brought into your life that feels very childlike to me. Something feels very like fun and carefree, and it's bringing in some good energy for you. So whatever it may be, Brenda, I can tell you this card really comes with a blessing. This card comes saying that there's blessings on the way. So whatever it is, I'm unsure of, but it's a blessing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Now, Cece, I'm going to pull a card for you. Cece, are you still here? So Cece, I don't know why. I just heard that, Grease, the movie Grease? No, not Grease, Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you know of this, like John Travolta, Staying Alive, Staying Alive. I think it's a Bee Gees song or something, like a Bee Gees song, or like Saturday Night Live, like that movie, like not Saturday. Yeah. No, I guess it's Staying Alive, right? That song, Staying Alive, whatever one of those 70s, 80s, early 80s movies that's about, that song. I have that song coming through. I have somebody here for you that's in like a polyester suit. Oh, Brenda, that love is coming again. It's coming in. You're going to feel that love. So, Cece, I have a person here for you, and it's not just a card. It's actually a person. So, Cece, I have this, you're so welcome, Brenda. So I have this energy of like somebody who would wear like a polyester suit. I have the bell bottom pants. I have that whole look. And I don't know if it's just the movie or the songs, like something about that time, that energy. But I feel like there's this person here. And I know they're here. I can see them. I can see them so plain. And I don't know if there's like a grandfather or like a grandparent or something who there is a picture of that was in like 1970s holding a child, or early 80s holding a little child, and they're dressed in that kind of suit. It could be like an old wedding picture or something, but that person is on the other side, and they're coming in and they're telling you about like, just let go, just have fun, just dance, just enjoy. And I feel like that's what they're telling you, but they're also telling me about their remembered, see, I got the little child, they're holding a child. And I feel like they're in a picture with a woman holding the child or something, but I just feel like it goes all the way back to your birth, all the way back to your, something to do with your early, or like your very beginning child years. And I don't, and so if there's, if you, if any of this is making sense to you, or you may have to go look for pictures. So this card is about wholeness. This is zero. This is oneness. And I feel like for you, that's kind of the message that I'm getting. It's like taking it all the way back. And it's like they're showing you back to the beginning, the rebirth, the purity, like letting go. And they're just telling you, just let go of the stories, let go of the past. See yourself in the now, see yourself living this life. And if you can see wrapping around her holding the child, there's also a beautiful angel energy, like a beautiful spirit, a beautiful grandmother energy or something. I just feel like this goes all the way back to an early picture of you. And it's zero, but there's also the beautiful. So if you look at all the hearts and the heart rising up, and I feel like this is like a cleansing, a rebirth, like kind of finally coming full circle, being able to let go of some umbilical cord connection stories, going all the way back. This is way back into the beginning. And I feel like this is also coming with, because you are letting go, or because it's time to let go, there is a rebirth, something new in your energy. I just feel like this is like a cleansing, like things are coming clearer for you, or you're going to get the clarity, and it's like an ending. Things have ended, whether it's the tough times, the struggles, something has now ended. And I just feel like you have to have faith and trust, because this may take some time. Like it's like, oh, now I got to go through this. But this is something very beautiful. And coming into that birth energy, it's it could also be about giving birth, or a pregnancy or something. But I'm connecting it to wholeness. Instantly, I got wholeness. But why I got that Saturday Night Live, like, I don't know what song is Saturday Night Fever or something like it, but it's John Travolta. And I just got that John Travolta. And so John Travolta actually played Archangel Michael in the movie Michael. And he does some of those dance moves in the Archangel Michael movie. So it's Archangel Michael cutting all of the cords, and kind of like there's a lot of that shift happening. Aha. So you are training for your medicine woman. Okay. Yeah. And so there's something of that, like you've come full circle, but it's that same sweetness, that same sweet energy. And in my class this morning that I was teaching, I'm teaching my soul retrieval class, my goddess within, reviving the pieces of us. So I was doing soul retrieval. And so in it, I was talking about revenge. And, even like sweet revenge can make us ugly, and sweet revenge can bring out the ugliness. And so it's that whole sense that I just feel like it's like, you're moving beyond anything that would have ever brought out the sides of you didn't like, the parts of you that you didn't like, the pieces of you that kind of made you feel like you were like, whatever you lost, whatever hurt was. I just feel like it just took you to a place of grief that it just feels like it was like too much. And so you're kind of coming back around from there. I'll try to connect to the person who's coming to you. If that person is a man or a woman, I'd love to know. I have two. So I have the man and I have a woman, and it's two. And I feel like there's a picture that would have been like 70s, 80s. And it's like this polyester looking suit, but two people holding a baby is the picture. that I see, like a grandparents or parents, but it's two people holding the little baby. And so, right, you're coming away from the negative and the grief will be so welcome. Yes. And it is so time. And I just feel like for you, CC, it's like you're really shifting that. And I feel like the picture, when you find the picture, is validation. And I feel like what the picture is making you do, it is making you look back. So it's telling you to look back until you find that there was this joy, this happiness. Um, Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe your parents holding your son. And I'm like, it just because it just feels like you're going to look back through, you're going to find these pictures, and you're going to say, oh shit, oh God, that's the picture. And it's like, but what you're being told is to look back through, not relive your past, not to go back, but to look back through and to see some of the love you had in your life or some of the support you had in your life because it was there. It was there. And so being able to move beyond that is that you're not doing anything that you do in healing should not be shouldn't, as I said this morning, should not be the reward that's rewarding, say, I will show you who I'll become. It should be just in allowing the becoming. And I feel like for you, it is about allowing the becoming and starting to just allow yourself to become. That's what I have. So best of luck because you are on a journey of you've come full circle, and so it's about what we cut. So cutting out the patterns, the habits that are in those cycles that we continue so that we can start a new journey because I feel like it's just the beginning of a new journey. That's what I feel like for you. So yeah, I grew a lot through the grief, but I have always had a lot of love surround me. Yes. And it's being reminded of that. So whatever is coming through, it just feels like always remember that because it's very light. They're very light-hearted people. I just feel like they're having fun. They're like laughing. And they're telling you to remember to dance. Don't take your healing so serious. Don't take the healing journey so serious because it's not all about becoming so serious. It's not also about, it's not about perfection. It's about allowing yourself to be as human as you can possibly be. Because that's why we're here. Human, but doing the right thing for the right reason, understanding the power of being a good, kind person to yourself as well as to everybody else. That's what matters. That's what matters. Yeah. So I hope that helped you in some way. Okay. I can only do one more because I do have to go I have my book club. And so let's see. I am looking for Roxanne Bennett. Are you still here, Roxanne? Roxanne Bennett. You're very welcome, Cece. I don't know if Roxanne Bennett is still here. I was just going to say you, friends. So friends, if not, I will pull for you. I don't see Roxanne here right now. I'll still, if Roxanne, if you are here, I'll still pull for you too. Oh, you are there. Okay. Okay. So let's start with Roxanne and I'll end with friends. Okay. So I'll do two. So Roxanne, you have a lot of shadow energy around you. You have a lot of and I don't mean that's a bad thing. I feel like you have a lot of I feel like for you, Roxanne, it's almost like somebody still guilts you. Like you hold on to a guilt story, like you're like somebody else's shadow story. And it's like hanging off your shoulders like a freaking cloak. Like you're wearing it as if you get kind of guilted into something or that you should feel guilty. And I don't know who treats or who has the envy or being treated like sometimes like you're the dumping station for everybody else's stuff. And two cards fell out of the deck for this one. So I'm going to pull two up quickly here. And so the two cards that came out was 12, card number 12. Let me find her. Hold on. Give me a second here. Sometimes they're not in order. And I don't know why. I don't know how I messed up the order, but okay. Oh no, it's 32. That's why. I got no glasses on. And then we have 29. So we have two cards for you that came out. So just bear with me for 2 seconds. So we have the eye of the beholder. We have Queenie. And so I don't know whoever kind of plays that whole of, kind of saying, oh, you think you're better if you do this or if you have that. Someone kind of, you play the guilt. I feel like for you, sometimes you feel guilty for doing good things for you or that you're doing something right for you. And I don't know why you carry that or why that's in or why there's just this, and I got a lot of whys. Like, why are you allowing that? And I feel like the why is being questioned from the other side. Why do you keep doing this? Or why do you keep letting them do this to you? Stop letting them do this to you. And so this is a very much, I want to say this is kind of like, this is definitely crone energy. So this is like a wise wisdom woman on the other side. She's definitely female. She's definitely a woman. She feels like she's possibly a grandmother. And I felt or it could be mother, but I smell cigarette smoke around her somehow. So whether she smoked or someone else smoked, or where that smoke comes in, but it's like cigarette smoke. And I have that strong smell of cigarette smoke. But she's also showing me. So we also have Davina. And so Queenie and Davina are coming up together. So it's like if you get dressed up and you take care of yourself, you're being, it's like that whole, you almost like you have to justify it or explain anything that you do well for yourself. But this person on the other side is like your biggest cheerleader, your biggest supporter. But you're also showing me that rainbow bridge, crossing over that rainbow bridge. And I don't know if the person on the other side kind of like she had no problem treating herself the way that she wanted to be treated. Or if she's like, and so I have somebody who's really broken in your energy, and that's the way that they just told me. They think she's broken, she lives broken, she's got this broken, and I just feel like you're always trying to help this person. And wherever she is or however this is going on, it's like you are not here to carry the weight of the world. You're not here to carry the burdens. You're not here to be fully responsible. And so through the eye of the beholder, is that whole sense of see yourself as worthy. Start seeing yourself as you would, and treat yourself as you would treat everybody else, because you treat everyone else as if they, as if you would give the world. That's what it feels like. You would give the world. And this woman on the other side is also telling me the same thing. She's like this too. And she's like, she got her own cigarette smoke and she can smoke. This woman smokes, so she might not even be family. She might just be a friend. And I feel like she's tied to like a bingo hall or darts or something. She hangs out somewhere, or she used to hang out somewhere. So I just feel like but and she says, and she never had all the glitz and glamours of life. She never had all of that, but she's very like, but she loved herself enough to know that she was good enough. And that's what she told me. But she's also shown me her boobs, her cleavage. Like she's got these boobs or something, and she's shown me her boobs. Like she's definitely present with you, Roxanne. So I don't know where or how she is tied to you, but she's telling you she's here. She's kind of like kicking your ass into gear and says, stop letting people treat you like garbage, or stop treating yourself like garbage. Stop justifying yourself. Why are you letting that happen to you? And she's just telling you that this is like, now it's time to start letting yourself be seen. Start taking care of you and not everybody else. Make yourself a priority. And she said, yeah. And she's nodding. She said, yeah, you tell her. Yeah, you tell her. And that's your friend. Okay. Yeah, you tell her. You tell her. You just tell her. Just tell her exactly as it is. And that's what she's doing to you. And so she's telling you it's like time for your heart, time to make you a priority. And it's like just kind of sitting back with this, like, yeah. And she could stay all night because she just loves to hang out. She loves to be with you. She loves, and it's like she didn't care. She didn't care if you even got dressed, you combed your hair. You were enough for her. She loves you dearly. You're just loved. And that's what you have to know, that you're very dearly loved. And just know that you're very dearly loved. And you don't have to worry. She's just always going to be with you. But it's time for you now. And so also that forever golden. And so she's always forever golden. You're ever loved. You're forever loved. You're forever enough. You got nothing to prove to anyone. And so you got nothing to prove to anyone. So fill your boots with joy and happiness for you. Fill your life with good things for you. Spend as much time doing whatever you want to do. You've earned that right. You've deserved that right. So now it's time for you. That's the life you're going to live. And you'll remember this. That's exactly as she just said to you. You'll remember this. You'll remember exactly what I said. And so she'll be with you and she'll be walking with you. And I hope that helped you. I hope that resonates with you. And thank you for being here. That's what she tells you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So yeah, thank you. And always any, feel free to share these. Like you can share my, you can share my lives. I don't mind people sharing them. Just because we're beta testing the deck doesn't mean that we can't share the deck. It's all copyrighted, it's all in. And so it's like, you can share this out. If to anyone who ever wants to share them, it's fine. I always get asked that. So I keep forgetting to say it when I come in. But also, just Roxanne, this is time for you. Okay. So thank you for being here. And now I'm sending her home with you because she's a barrel of laugh and a barrel of fun, but she can't stay. So off she goes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And friends, I'm going to pull one last card and then I gotta go. Oh my God, friends. So friends, you got this. So friends, you got the second card that I just pulled. Guess that's why two cards came falling out. So you got Forever Golden. And I feel like for you, what I'm picking up, friends, is I'm picking up your hands. This is bringing me to your hands and your broken wing. And your broken wing. And I feel like there's sometimes you feel like there's a broken wing. Like it's almost like you can't fly, you can't take off. It's like you're it feels like your feet sometimes feels like they're stuck, or you're stuck in, and you're not stuck in a story. It's not a story. And I just feel like it's like really truly allowing your healing hands to show, like letting yourself be the healer, let yourself be seen. And the Forever Golden is, I just feel like it's like there's somewhere in your life, I just feel like you felt like you got like, I want to say robbed. I want to say robbed, or like shortchanged on something, like something didn't exactly go as planned, and right. And so you're not always fully yourself yet. There's something there. You're so authentic in so many ways, I'm being told, but you're not fully authentic to you yet. And so I was asked to pull another card to go with this. That's your trouble. Yeah. And so it's like there's a lot of exploration here for you right now, and I feel like this year is fully about you exploring, but this is something to really remember about you. And so they're pulling this card. It's a 33, and so this is card number 33, and I love this card. And no, I don't think anyone has really seen this card yet. I don't think it's come out. So what I'm being told is that we haven't fully seen all of you yet. And it's benevolence. And Perphone is her name. She's not phony. She's real. Like she's really showing up. She's real. You're seeing the real, true her. And behind her, is that envy, or is that, I don't feel like that's envy looking in. I feel like that's admiration looking in, that she can fully walk in her light and she can be in her light, and she's wearing her sparkle. She's wearing her glimmer. And she's also got that beautiful love. And so when you see that, I mean, this is the ultimate level of benevolence. And this is, that understanding the power of benevolence, and to do the right, to be that kind, what it takes to be kind. And, she's wearing her smile. She's wearing her happiness. She doesn't want to, she's not stepping ahead. She's sharing. And that's the whole essence, is about sharing your light, sharing your love, sharing the gifts that you have, and to let yourself be in the presence of the ultimate light, so that you can truly kind of start to question yourself. I feel like it's time for you to question yourself. Yeah, start listening to your heart by questioning yourself, questioning the deep-seated whys of to why am I still, and so that little broken wing, what is that little broken piece? What is behind that broken piece? What keeps me believing that that's real? And so it exposes it. The other card kind of exposes you a little bit and says, no, there's the real friends. There's the, it's like not hidden, not hiding, not like really coming out and coming forward. So I hope that helps you somehow. And I don't know why, friends, I have a dog around you. There's a dog on the other side. So there's a dog from the other side that's very much around you. And I have this puppy, and it's not really a little puppy. I feel like it's kind of looks like it's got a little bit of shaggy fur to it, almost like a Sheltie or a border collie look or something. I don't know if that's what it is, or like an Australian shepherd, that kind of look. But that dog is running all around. It's animal spirit, and the animal spirit is very much with you. And a dog is loyalty, and I just feel like loyal, almost sometimes loyal to a fault. And this dog is just saying, wrapping around your legs, like very loyal. And so loyalty is a big thing to you, and loyalty is very important. And dogs definitely know about loyalty no matter what. Australian, it is an Australian Shepherd. Chris, Chris, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because I'm like, yeah, it was so present to me that I could just see this little shaggy little dog. And it's like just running around, but wrapping around your legs, very loyal to you and very much showing us, yay, very much showing the loyalty. I still get so excited about mediumship. It's so funny. I'm like, I get so excited about this as if it's my first day. All these years later, I still get excited about this work. There's never a time I'm not excited because I just love how they come for us. I love how they come in, and I love the love that's in this work. And so loyalty is a big thing in that benevolence, and to really look at Forever Golden is really start to know that, being loyal to you, being loyal to your cause. And just like the dog spirit is just like, that's the essence of you. You very much have that energy that's around you, as my dogs start like dancing around here. So thank you for that, and for allowing me to do to give you that card. I very much appreciate the opportunity for you all. So I'm going to leave with one card, but I'm not going to give a big message to it. Just let me get in here because I'm in here a lot lately. If you want to see me in the mornings, you'll often see me. This week is going to be a very wacky week because I work with clients this week along with teaching. So I'm all over the place this week. So one last card for oh my God, you just can't make this shit up. Like, I just shuffled this baby up. And so if you look on my back wall, you will see Davina on my back wall, just like the cover. So this beautiful card is also still the card that is showing up for us again. So she is kind of showing off a little bit here tonight. Golden. So she is golden. And I would say, when this card was created, I always said, if I were to ever get married, this was one of the first dresses that I used to draw when I was a little girl. I used to draw the hourglass shapes. That's how you never know what your dreams are. I drew out these women when I was young. I used to draw them all the time. I would draw them everywhere, and I would always draw this look. And so this was the beginning of what would to be all these years later at almost 50 years old. You just never know what is to be. But if you allow life to unfold, I never looked for my purpose. I lived on purpose. And that was huge. I lived just doing the things that I love to do. And so beautiful golden Davina, she's also someone else who's protecting her parts of her that are precious, but she's got different sides of her. She's got her little short dress, she's got the long dress, and that you're not stuck with one part of you. Right. So right. And so, yeah, so she's not stuck with just being that one story. She showed up in 3 different readings. Like, she showed up in 3 different ways. And she's saying, there's so much of us. And if you just be you, that's more than enough. And you don't have to fit into somebody else's story. Stop trying to fit into being what somebody else wants you to be. And I put her on my wall because I love her. She was actually started out as the healer, is what she started out as. And she was how I kind of started to, when I started to accept me, I started to see the beautiful parts of me. And it took a long time to see the beautiful parts of me. And so when I started to see the healer, my whole why to more than existing was that I got very tired of seeing ego starting to come before the oracle, or ego infusing in the oracle and within the healers. And so the unhealed healer, we all want to get this wisdom and knowledge, but we all want to give it out and give it away so quickly before we allow it to do the work for us. Do the work on you first. Do the healing on you. And when you do the work on you first, when you make you the priority, then we're ready to do the other things. And that, you can walk in that. So she's very much knowing where she'll walk next, but she doesn't have to tell everybody. She very much knows the power that's in her hands, but she doesn't have to lay her hands on everybody. She knows that she has the ability to be that channel, but you're a bamboo shoot, you're a vessel. We're not the oracle. We're not this light. We don't own that light. We can't claim what is not ours. So this is where, arrogance can get in the way. Arrogance to thinking that we know it all, or thinking that we're right. And when all else moves aside and you let all of you show, and you're enough. Even with the little broken pieces, even with the past stories, we're still enough. And just accepting that you are just more than enough. So that's the journey to more than existing. To anyone who's new coming in, this is my book. This is More Than Existing. I have a few more coming out, and we have one going to be a journal. And this, I hope to be starting to sell my Oracle cards, or starting to pre-sell the decks in the end of March. And so these are the creation of my years of hard work and healing all coming together to be able to share with you all. So thank you all for being here. Much, much love. And I'll be back again sometime tomorrow. I'm hoping in the morning. So have a beautiful evening. And for those coming to book club, I'll see you in there. Much, much love. Bye-bye.